Hey guys, and welcome to my stimulus package update and stimulus check update. Wow, I haven't said those words in so long. I want you guys to know that I missed you more than you missed me, and I'm happy I'm back here for you with another video just to give you my perspective on everything that's been going on.
U.S. Representative John Larson, it has something around like 200 different co-sponsors between the House of Representatives and the Senate, and they've been gaining more support. This bill has several different provisions. Cuts taxes, strengthen benefits, ensure Social Security through this century. And what it does is, one of the provisions it does is that it adds an extra tax onto people, wealthy individuals that make like over $400,000. It has them start repaying into the Social Security system, because remember that people stop paying into the Social Security system somewhere around $145,000, $150,000, because that's the maximum. It changes every single year, okay, because of inflation. It goes up a little bit, okay, but they stop paying into Social Security because they've hit the maximum amount that they can make for Social Security, so they stop paying into Social Security. What they want to do, and there's several different bills that would take this idea. What they want to do is make those people start paying into Social Security again at around the $400,000 per year income mark. And all those people would pay into it again with about a 2% payroll tax. So they pay 2% of their income above that market. All those people that make over $400,000 do that. And when they do that, all that money goes back into Social Security, and from there, they can use that extra tax money to increase the Social Security minimum amount they pay out to everybody that qualifies for Social Security, or whatever the stipulations they come up with, to 125% of the poverty. So everybody that worked for their whole lives and qualifies for Social Security would no longer be living below the poverty level. So they would get 125% of the poverty level, which comes out to $1,341 per month. So think about all the people that work their whole lives and gets $800 a month, $900 a month, something like that. They would now get raised to $1,341 per month. Yeah. That's and like I said, there's somewhere around 200 different co-sponsors that have co-sponsored this bill, and that is something that they could get passed this year. Yeah, so there's a lot of different support for things like this, and this is how movements start. We got to get more support for this. That's why I'm here on my YouTube channel talking about this, trying to gather more support. That's why I tell you guys, call, email, tweet your representatives, your state representatives. Send out your support. I'm here talking to, hundreds of thousands, millions of people every single day, and trying to, get more support for things like this, for SNAP benefits being reduced for seniors. Crazy because of inflation. How is that even a thing? That should not be a thing. Yeah, that is something that needs to be changed. We talk about this $800 billion of stimulus money that is just sitting there. Again, something needs to be done about that. They just let it sit there. And again, this is how bills get started. You send this idea out to Congress. One or two people in Congress, Bernie Sanders, whoever it may be, sees somebody come up with this idea, and they go, you know what? That is a good idea. Let's start a movement on this, and let's get some support on this, and let's start a bill and see if we can get the support of, enough people to get it passed. And that's exactly how things happen. In fact, that's exactly how the second stimulus check actually became the second stimulus check and actually got passed. That's how the $1,400 third stimulus check almost came to pass. It was blocked by Mitch McConnell, if you remember that whole story. But in the end, it actually did become the third stimulus check underneath President Biden. If you remember that whole story, I'm not even going to go through it again. Former President Donald Trump wanted that $1,400 check. He said the $600 check's not enough. It should be $2,000. And then they passed it in the House. And then Mitch McConnell said, nope, I'm not even going to put it to a vote in the Senate. Yeah. And then nonetheless, the Republicans kind of lost the Senate like 6 days later because of the Georgia Democratic runoff races, or the Georgia runoff races, and the Democrats won both those seats. Okay. And then the Democrats ended up passing the $1,400 stimulus check anyways, all on their own. The Democrats in the House and the Democrats in the Senate without a single Republican vote through the reconciliation package. So the Democrats are kind of like, all right, Mitch McConnell, if you're going to not let this even go to a vote, he didn't even put it to a vote on the floor. I remember saying to you guys, I'm like, all right, the House has passed this bill for $1,400. The second stimulus check just went out. Trump said, make this $2,000. The House was like, all right, we passed this. Literally like 2 days later, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. This is amazing. This is like what everybody needs, right? And I'm like, and I was remember counting the votes. I'm like, all right, we got all 50 Democrats in the Senate going to vote for this. We need 10 votes. Even Joe Manchin was going to vote for it. We need 10 votes from Republicans. And I remember saying, all right, we got Josh Hawley. We got, I can't even remember who the guys were, but I'm like, we got this guy, this guy, this guy. I'm like, we got 10 people. I'm like, this is going to happen. And then Mitch McConnell didn't even vote on it. He didn't even put it to a vote. He just put it in his what do we call it? His graveyard. He put it in his graveyard. But unfortunately for Mitch McConnell, didn't really work out that well because the Democrats passed it anyways on their own. I don't know, a month or two later. So didn't work out for Mitch. I don't know why he would want to do that, especially because the Georgia runoff races were like a week later. And I kind of thought through the situation. I was like, has Mitch thought through the situation here? Because it was like, these Senate runoff races are a week later, 6 days later. And I was like, if he loses both these seats, he loses the Senate and the Republicans lose the Senate. And I was like, is he really sure he doesn't even want to put this to a vote? I mean, it's his own Republican president who's saying, let's make these $600 stimulus checks $2,000. So I'm like, is he sure he wants to not even put this to a vote? Why would he do this? Like, the whole country's watching. Like, what is he doing? And he decided to literally be the Grinch. Can you imagine being that person? And I mean, this was back in 2020. This was at the end of like December of 2020, I think it was. So literally still they call it the height of the pandemic, but I mean, when you look at here we are in February of 2022, and the cases were higher than ever. I mean, just look here where we were just a few weeks ago. Man, we had 1 million people testing positive per day. So you kind of gotta wonder, and really, we were actually at almost all-time highs per day of deaths. So you kind of wonder, was that the all-time high of the pandemic? Was that the height of the pandemic? Or was this the height of the pandemic with 1 million people testing positive and almost daily highs of deaths per day? So what would you consider the height of the pandemic? Yeah, that's a tough one. You kind of go back to 2020 and you say they closed down the country. When they closed down the country, we were like 30-some thousand cases per day. 30-some thousand. Isn't that crazy to think about? And then here we are in 2022 with 1 million cases per day. We had one day that it was 1.4 million people testing positive in a day. And think about, we didn't close the country down. So think about when we closed the country down underneath Trump, we had 30-some thousand cases per day. And then here we are in 2022 at 1.4 million cases we had in one day, and several days over 1 million cases per day. So think about 30,000 cases per day and millions of cases per day, like, or a million, over a million cases per day. I mean, just like the disparity, it's like exponentially more. I mean, it's just you can't even, it's just so much more. It's like, what is that? That's like, well, 10 times more would be 300,000. That's like over 30 times more cases.
Alright guys, this is all I have for you in this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really missed you. Hopefully I'll see you here again very, very soon. And I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on everything we talked about here in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate you all. Please hit the like button on the video, share this video with your friends and family, and subscribe if you haven't already, and click that notifications bell to be notified that whenever I publish new videos for you. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.